everyone, Debra Dickinson here. Thank you for being on my channel. Bandit is down there resting. Today we are going to cover what to say to Leos when you feel like you're not welcome. And I'm going to tell you why I'm making this video. Recently, I've shared 3 videos, and I'm looking at my notes because I want to, make sure I get all of this right. But I've shared 3 videos about our emergency run from the pipeline fire. There were 2 lives, one while we were actually running down the mountain and the fire was right behind us, and then I shared that we had made it safely, and then later I did a regular video about that. Now, the pipeline and haywire fires are, as of today, 95% contained, and as of today, the Coconino and the Kaibab have lifted all fire restrictions, so that is great news. There was almost over 27,000 acres burned from at least the pipeline fire, and maybe more by the haywire fire that did not include previous burn scar. What I didn't share with you in those 3 videos is that running from the fire actually created a TBI episode for me. And for the first time since I've been on the road, I didn't even realize that I was in one. And so that was particularly scary for me. And for any of you that are new to my channel, I have a traumatic brain injury, and that's why I look at notes when I am doing what I call talking head videos. And a lot of people are so good at just getting on their channel and talking, and I try to do that, but my short-term memory just doesn't allow for it. So I appreciate y'all being patient with me looking at my notes. So what happened the day we ran from the fire and we got squared away at our new camp is evidently at some point we joined our friends Tim and Stanley, and the 4 of us that ran from the fire was C-Dub's Journey, Carrie, our friend Carrie, and Friggle RV Gal, and me. And we joined Tim Untethered and my friend Stanley at their camp. And when we got there, Tim mentioned something about pizza, that he had pizza or something, and I vaguely remember that. Well, it turns out that I guess I texted Tim and asked him if he had any of that pizza left. Everyone told me the next day that I did these texts. I did not remember doing that. So I texted Tim to see if he had any pizza left, and I guess he didn't get back to me. And so then I asked Carrie if she could come help me fix something to eat, and she came in and fixed a sandwich for me, and all of that happened, and I still to this day have no recollection of it, and so that was pretty scary for me. And I don't know why I didn't text Jana. I think because it started with Tim saying he had pizza, but when you're in a TBI episode, who knows what the brain is doing. So I ended up not really remembering anything for a couple of days, but as soon as I could, guys, I got busy cleaning and organizing Phoenix. I never wanted to be caught in a situation again where we had to evacuate in an emergency like that, and I had stuff sitting outside because I was working on all this project stuff, right? And I ended up going through all of that. And Jana and I ended up going to the Flagstaff KOA, and in all of that and I got rid of project stuff. It's like if I'm not going to work on it anytime soon, I don't want the tub anymore. So I got rid of a lot of stuff. So I got rid of 3 lawn and leaf bags full of stuff that went to the dumpster, and I got rid of 3 boxes and a plastic storage bin of things that went to Goodwill. Now that's stuff that I'll probably have to buy later, but I needed Phoenix clean and organized and ready to roll at a moment's notice. It really scared me running from that fire. I can't tell you what all was in all of that stuff. It was a very hard time for me. I had to stay focused, but I was determined to get it done, and so I'm sorry I didn't do any filming during that time. But I want to thank you all again for the loving support, and I want to especially thank my friends and my camp mates during that time that looked out for me, and they're such good friends. So why are we talking today about Leos versus homelessness? You know, that my title and my thumbnail are not clickbait, and it's a very important topic, and so I'm going to tell you about that because it's something I think everyone should know. So while Jana and I were gone to the KOA, our friends were visited by a National Forest Service Leo. Leo stands for Law Enforcement Officer. And, you know, you guys keep in mind that they have their hands full, right? There's all these fires and there's knuckleheads doing knucklehead stuff. Y'all hear me talk about it all the time, and I rant and rave about it. And so they have nothing but my utmost respect and appreciation for all that they do. Leos, Rangers, first responders, anybody and everybody that works for our public lands. So don't hear me saying anything differently in this video, but there are some things you need to be aware of and that you need to be careful about, in my opinion. Okay, there are some laws coming down the pike that may change everything, and in my next video I'll talk about that, and I'll tell you why I think that is happening, and what the feedback is that I'm getting of things that are going on and that may affect and change everything, and I'll give references and resources and everything in that video. I always do. You can always look below in the pinned comment or the video description for any reference links I have on my videos. Okay, so you know, the overseers of our public lands, just suffice it to say, they have their hands full, right? I mean, they just do. Part of their job is enforcement. It's not all of their job, but part of their job is enforcement. The National Forest Service, it's different for every area, so you need to check. But in this area around Flagstaff, the Coconino and Kaibab, where we had been camped, we're not there anymore, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But you can stay for 14 days within a 28-day period. That is per their websites, and you can go check that out for yourself. But that means 14 days, and then you have to leave within a 28-day period and come back then again if you want to. Now BLM, and both of these are one is managed by the Federal Department of Interior, and one is managed by the Federal Department of Agriculture. BLM often has mileage restrictions on how far away you even have to go when you leave after that 14 days. But the National Forest Service does not. Their websites don't say anything about distance. So when the Leo came to visit, my friend Tim asked the ranger about that, and it didn't go well. Now keep in mind, Leos are allowed bad days too, but this just got ridiculous. And also keep in mind, Tim Untethered is one of the nicest guys. He's a professional. He had a professional job, and he still works as a digital nomad with an extreme high profile social media production company, and not just social media, digital production, and so and he's nice looking, and he's very clean, and I mean he's just a gentleman. And so not that should matter, but it does, and I just want to put that out there. You know, that for this to have happened to all people, I wouldn't have guessed it would happen to Tim. But that conversation didn't go well. I wasn't there, but the Leo ended up telling him, why don't y'all just leave the state, and I can and will arrest you and take you to jail if I have to. And of course it's like, go. And so I wasn't there, but I was given information on that, and it was very disturbing for Tim and my friends. And we actually didn't even end up going back out there and camping with them, not because of that, but because monsoon season is here in Arizona, and we didn't want to get stuck on the roads because Jen and I need to be heading east and heading toward Texas. We're going through New Mexico and going to be doing the New Mexico State Parks. Got my pass a long time ago to do make reservations for my Cocoa Fest, and so that's something that we have been planning on and are looking forward to, and we'll have that for you in videos. So we have actually left the Flagstaff area completely. But here is what I recommend you always, always, always be prepared to say to any Leo, any agency when camping. So, and keep in mind, you never know how stressed they are, or if they're have had a bad family emergency at home, or they might just be a jerk, right? But you never know what they're dealing with. So you want to be able to have these 4 things ready to go at all times. Keep in mind that I've been out here almost 8 years on the road full time, and I have lived in my rig for that whole time, full time. And so I speak from a little bit of experience. First and foremost, never say you're homeless or that you live in your rig. Should you be allowed to do that? I am, of course, of them a personal opinion that yes, we should. And again, like I said, I'm going to be telling you about some laws that are coming down the pike that might change things forever in my next video. But that's not what this video is about. I am telling you, don't ever say that you are homeless. So the first thing that you want to be able to say is that you are camping, period. And I'll tell you in the next video how even that definition is changing. But tell them that you're camping. And 2, be prepared to tell them your legal residency if asked. And I know a lot of you are going to jump on a bandwagon that you shouldn't have to have a legal residency and all that, blah, 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 blah. And I'm sorry if I'm seeming disrespectful to those of you that is very important to, but there is no country on this planet that you can go to and not have either a legal residency or the equivalent of a green card or visa. Nowhere. So it's not unique to America, and it's not a privilege that you get to have that's getting taken away from you. You have to have a legal residency, and there are tons of videos about how to go about doing that. So be prepared to give them, that's number 2, be prepared to give them your legal address. I have always found it beneficial also if you can tell them where you've been, and 4, where you are going. So those are your 4 things. So you can say, you know, I was just camping in the Coconino, and after this I'm headed to Winslow, or whatever you want, whatever is your route. But you need to be prepared to say that, and yeah, to protect our public lands and to weed out. I mean, we've all heard the news, even murderers. They have all kinds of things to deal with, and to weed all of that out, be prepared with those 4 things. And you know, I would say also don't offer anything else, and don't get into a pissing contest with them on your legal rights. Again, I'll discuss in the next video how we can go about getting laws changed. Should we need to and want to, but they're toe-to-toe with a Leo. It is not your time to stand your ground on something that they don't even have any control over anyway. They're there to enforce laws that have already been passed, and if the laws change, they'll enforce those. So don't get into that pissing contest. And I know that there are big channels that will tell you otherwise, and I'm just telling you the truth of what you need to know to be successful out here as a full-time nomad. So if they ask you questions, give them polite, simple, short answers. Keep your mouth shut on everything else. That's my advice. It's not time to share your life story or your thoughts about the area, or try to get into chit-chat. First of all, they usually don't have the time, and it can just confuse things if they have if they're looking for something. And I don't mean that they're there to harass you, but they get calls about people, and they come out to investigate sometimes, and they don't know what they're running into. And if they've stopped at your camp and they've got all that running through their mind, the last thing that they need is to hear you going blah 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 blah. So if you have questions for them, though, let them know your understanding of the current rule, reg, guideline, whatever it is you're asking about. Maybe, for example, you want to know, maybe you're concerned that you're parked too close to a water source. I believe, and I didn't look this up before I did this video, and I should have, but I believe you have to be 300 feet from a water source. So tell them your understanding. It is my understanding that I have to be 300 feet from a water source, and I just want to make sure that I'm good at this site where I am. They know then that you are reaching to try to be just for clarification on the rule or the guideline or the regulation or the law, whichever it is. But most of all, be prepared, you guys, with sharing those 4 very important things. 1, you are camping. 2, give your legal residency if asked. 3, be prepared to tell them where you've been. And 4, be prepared to tell them where you're going. So if you found this video useful, or if you think it might help somebody else, please share it. But most of all, please be sure that you are subscribed to my channel and have rung that bell to get notifications. Be sure to hit that thumbs up and leave me a comment. I want to hear from you. You may think that I don't know what I'm talking about. We can debate that. I would argue with you on that, but leave me a comment and tell me what you think. And also, you may want to check out my latest book. It's on my website and on Amazon. It is called How Being a Nomad Saved My Life. So, happy camping, everyone. We'll see you down the road. Bye.